Hello and welcome everyone to a video about composable frontends. And it's not my video, I have a guest with me. The whole video is about a project done with composable frontends. It's hands-on, and I'm here with Miriam Müller, who's not working for Shopware, but she's working at Zeitgeist. Hi, Miriam.
Hi.
So you brought some slides, and here they are. About your composable frontends in action video. So, first slide. Okay, say something about yourself.
Hi, I'm Miriam. I'm from Hamburg and I'm a senior PHP developer. My focus is backend development, but I also like frontend, and especially with composable frontends. So, yeah.
All right, so you started your front-end career with composable frontends.
No. I
No,
did front-end in the past, but at some point I have to focus on front-end or back-end. So there was not enough time to do both. So
I know that. I know that pain. For me, it's more PHP versus Go, but I know that pain. Okay, so you have an agenda, and it's mainly, of course, about the project. You will tell us about that project, some pain points you brought with you, and how you tackled that whole project preparation and the design process, also the development process and DevOps hosting learnings, conclusion and next steps. Now, let's put this here first. These slides are available for you out there to view, so you can download it in the link below the video, because there will be some images you might want to check out. Okay, maybe you can say something about the project first, and then we go through the other points.
yeah, the project is a B2B self-service portal we did, and we started last year, around about a year ago, with the UX UI kickoff, and yeah, we had to pause the project from March to August this year, because the project has some other goals they have to solve before we could continue with the project. They started to change the ERP system, and they got not ready.
Yeah. So a self-service portal, just in case someone doesn't know, what does the self-service portal mean?
Yeah, it's for the customers to check their orders they did, the availabilities of products and prices, and yeah, some other customer support like invoices and documents, and yeah, the product catalog. Yeah,
Okay.
that was
So it's a bit more than a shop and focused on business to business.
Yeah, in the beginning, we did the self-service portal, and later on, the idea is to extend the project with order features. So, but it's the next step.
It's the next step, but you have a lot of freedom because of composable frontends.
Yeah.
Now, I just was reminded, I just remembered, you did this talk on the Boost Day with me.
Yeah.
And of course, the context was there. Now, for everyone watching now, composable frontends, I'm not sure, will you explain this at a point in the this presentation?
No, not
No,
in
okay.
this presentation, because it
It's
was
okay.
on the booster. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the Boost Day about composable frontends, so everyone was aware. Just let me really quick give the people out there a rundown. Composable Frontends is a project made by Shopware for the community, and since Shopware 6 is a headless API-first project, it is a JavaScript thing, the composable frontends, that docks onto your API. So you can build a storefront in your JavaScript environment without having to touch Shopware that much. We will see you have to touch Shopware at some points, but that's the idea, right? You have separated backend, in this case Shopware, and the front end you can do whatever you want, and you have like a stack of tools. You have an API client written in JavaScript. You have a whole stack built on top of that up to a demo store, and you can use different parts from the stack. It's a very nice project, but the idea is you build your storefront somewhere, and the API is used to talk to Shopware. Okay,
Yeah.
a link to composable frontends and the overview is down below in the video description. Okay, so you had a phase 1 and a goal for that attached, right?
Yeah. That was for phase 1. It was the product catalog and the self-service portal, and later on we will continue with order features for the customers and also payment later on then.
Okay, so basically it's a storefront without the store part right now.
Yeah.
Or without the ordering capability.
Yeah, it's a product catalog and account area for the customer.
Okay.
Yeah, and the project has a very strong focus on design details and very individual features, and animated header and teaser images, very special features, and that was the point why we decided Shopware Composable Frontends.
Yeah, because reverse engineering the storefront that comes with Shopware sometimes is harder than just building it from composable frontends. Okay, can you show us a screenshot?
Yeah, that's a project. You can see the front page and product listing and product detail pages, and it does not look like the default Shopware storefront.
Not at all, no. It's very beautiful. I like the black aesthetics. I'm a dark mode guy. Although I know a lot of developers who aren't, so no shame if you are not a dark mode person. Are you?
No.
No.
I like dark mode.
Oh, you are a dark mode person. Okay. But if you out there are not, that's perfectly fine. Okay. So you brought some pain points from the past that led you to use composable frontends in the first place, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, in the past, we did everything with the default Shopware storefront with Twig. And in bigger projects with very individual designs, we often had the problem that over time it becomes more and more difficult to change something, because if you only change some styles, it's okay, but if you start to change the grid system or spaces and something like that, over time it becomes more and more expensive and difficult to change things. So we often end up to change one thing and create many more errors. So if you change the one button, it only changes one place, not every place in the project, and then you start to develop individual style sheets, and you're fighting against the style sheets from the storefront. And that's
the more customized you get with a project, the more you not want to use a standardized storefront that is there for a quick and easy start.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so you had these frustrated front-end developers. I can totally feel that.
They were fighting against the storefront styles every time, and they had the feeling they did not develop new features, only bug fixing all the time. And therefore they got frustrated, and our UX UI designers was also dissatisfied because the things the front-end developer did was not really that what they wanted, and so it often becomes that it was a difference between the designs and that what we did in the end. So and also the customers are unhappy because of the costs over time, because over time it's very expensive to change small things, and it's difficult for customers to understand why it's so expensive to change so a little thing.
Yeah. So you had already this experience with very customized projects. And just to add, the storefront is generally not that bad.
No.
It just becomes a problem if you go like, okay, I want to do something that has nothing to do with the storefront in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. We also have projects with still projects with a storefront, most of them, but the bigger projects with very custom front ends.
Yeah. And you have also NEOS and Typo 3 teams in your agency, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah.
Yeah, our NEOS and Typo 3 teams already work with component-based front ends for many years. So our front-end developers in the company was used to work with component-based front ends. So yeah, nearly all of the front-end developers prefer to work with Typo 3 and NEOS because they had the feeling they are doing real things, new features, and not bug fixing all the time. So yeah, it was difficult to find front-end developers who really liked to work with us with Shopware.
So then came composable front ends, and basically all these pain points are addressed by it, more or less.
Yeah.
Okay, so you now have composable front ends with mitigates these pain points, and now you go like, hey, let's start with the project. And you have a preparation and design process, and you brought us some insights into this. Maybe you can show us and tell us a little bit about that. So just to set the stage here, what you're talking about next is how you typically would start a composable front ends project by not doing anything in code, right?
Yeah. In the beginning, no code, but after that, yeah, we changed nearly completely the process for our front-end developers. So everything was new. The tools was new, and also the process was new. And yeah, we started with the UX UI team with definition of design tokens like grid colors, fonts, and sizes in the beginning of the project. And our UX UI team worked with Figma, and they have a plugin for Figma where they already used Tailwind styles in the design process.
Okay, and yes, also at the Boost Day, people said that there are other frameworks available, but I mean, you choose Tailwind. Yeah. That's that. But yes, everyone is aware there are other projects and frameworks available.
Yeah, you can do the same and use CSS directly or use something else.
CSS, I think, was something that was mentioned.
Yeah, CSS, but inside of CSS, there's also Tailwind. So
don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
so now
we decided to use Tailwind because also in our other teams they use Tailwind, so it's a technology across the company here.
Yeah, but in the end it just works. Okay, so now you have a grid defined. What was next?
Yeah, we defined the grid and breakpoints and also the colors which are used in the project, and the typography. And
Which is a lot.
Yeah, but that is special for this customer.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, that's something you basically have to do every time, maybe apart from the grid, but colors and typography is so central to the site, to the CI. Yeah, you have to do this all the time, again, new and fresh.
Yeah, but this project was very special because there are so many sizes and variants of the font. It's not normal,
but from the screenshots, it paid off, judging from the screenshots. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, also the spacings for the project was defined in this design project. And yeah, we also have some special spacings here which are not known in Tailwind, so there was some other. And the UX UI team yeah, told us directly which are new. So we knew which are new, which do we have to configure in the configuration. So that was very nice.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and then you started to build components, right?
Yeah, exactly. After the design tokens, we started to build the components. This is only in Figma now. It's no code at this point here. So we started with the smallest components like input fields and buttons and links, and also all the different states of a link and a button, active state,
Which also is a
inactive,
lot.
mouse over,
Yeah.
and with icon, without icon. Yeah, that was different things.
Okay. So then the paginators, were they already built from other things or no? I don't think so, right?
No, not the paginator. This is also an individual component, but also the badges, individual. But after that,
You started to group.
yeah, exactly. So we started to develop the header and footer based on the smallest components and group them together.
Do you know if there were like designs first? So someone, you know, that typical I did this in Photoshop thing, and then you started in Figma, or?
No. Our UX team does not use Photoshop anymore. They do everything in Figma.
Okay.
So
By the way,
Figma
this is
in
not
use.
sponsored.
No.
Not sponsored. No, but obviously you used it in the project, so that's fair game.
Yeah.
All right.
We also use Zeppelin in the beginning because Zeppelin is a tool where you can export all the components, so it's easier for the developers. But now Figma has dev mode, so we removed Zeppelin now, so we use the dev mode of Figma. It's nice for developers to get exports of this component, so you can export components from Figma and you already have code for that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So you also built a card and footer. I think you have a few screenshots of, exactly, of the different components you then put together. Just as a reminder, you can download the slides down below in the video description or somewhere here. I'm not sure.
In the end.
Somewhere. You can download them somewhere around the video. Exactly. Okay, and now I see we are starting with the development process.
Yeah, exactly. We started the development with the demo store template from Composable Frontends. So we set up the project with the theme, which already has components for everything: header, footer, product pages, detail
it's basically
pages.
a quick start, right?
A quick start, yeah. We decided to use this one, so it was our first project, and it was easier to start with an existing front end, and then we replaced everything inside of this with our own components.
Which is how Composable Frontends, if you don't know it out there, also is meant to be used. So you, as you can see here on the slide, you pull everything locally, or you fork it and then pull it, however you do that. And the idea is that you do your changes in the source files, so to say, themselves, because at the moment of cloning, it is yours. So you don't get necessarily updates from Shopware. Of course you can, and you have integrated them into your store, but the idea is that you build very customized, so you don't get a constant update stream. Okay.
Yeah, there's also a blank template you can use, which is really blank. But in the beginning, it's easier with the demo store because all the pages are there already, and
you can learn from the code that is already there.
Exactly, for the first project.
For the first project, of course. But then go blank. Okay, so now that you have the demo store locally, you did a lot of Tailwind stuff, right?
We started with coding, and we did nearly the same we did already in the UX UI part. So we started to define all the design tokens to Tailwind. So we started to configure Tailwind configuration and set up font sizes, spaces, and so on in the configuration. And that was a process where our UX and UI and front-end developers were sitting close together. There was like pair programming together, and they defined design tokens together in the configuration.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, it makes absolute sense to have this done first, because composable frontends kind of is about doing nice looking things.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's the base for every component after that. So you can, if you have the base, then every developer can start to develop independently.
And you also helped your developers, right? With a style guide.
That was the next step. We wanted to use a storybook, which is a style guide tool, where you can develop components. But in the beginning of the project, it was not ready for Vue 3 and Next, because now it is. For the next project, we will use Storybook. Try to use it. I'm not sure if it works, but it should. And therefore we started to develop an own style guide. It's very simple. It's only some Vue.js pages which are rendering the small components.
But the nice thing is you have code that you can copy paste.
Yeah. Our style guide is a list of components and pages for every component, where you can see which variants we have of each component and how you can use the component.
Yeah. You also brought 3 examples, right?
Yeah, one example is here a drop-down list inside the style guide. So you can use the component inside the style guide, not here on the screenshot, but in real.
Yeah.
So you can try out.
It's clickable. Yeah.
It's clickable and mouse over, and you can open the drop-down and close it and so on. And the same for all the input fields with error states and monospace variant and something like that. And buttons, we have many buttons. And you can also see them here in the different states.
Okay. You basically choose one and then you can put it in your template you're working on at that moment.
Yeah, exactly. You can see a code example of every button variant you want.
Yeah, and I think you also have some, you have some benefits listed, right?
Yes. This process makes it possible that we could develop components with many developers at the same time, because we was independent from each other. We had the design tokens, and then we could develop every component, and there was no dependencies between.
So you were just like, I need a button, I look in the style guide, I put the button there, done.
Yeah, exactly. And the other took the link and so on. So we could scale up the team and speed up the project. The design tokens were the base for everything. That was.
And now you said the situation that we are in at that moment is we have the whole stuff in Figma, then we transfer them to the storybook. You would do that now, but you did this in your custom thing, but usually storybook. And then you start to develop, and you have this demo store template. So you start with putting small components in there, right?
Yeah, after we completed our small components, we took the demo store template and put all the small components in this template. Example is a header. We started with the header and integrated all the individual components inside the header template from the demo store. Yeah.
Which looked a bit weird at first, right?
Why?
You have a screenshot of that.
Yeah, you can see a screenshot of the
on the next
result.
slide.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, the result is a header here, and if I go back, you can see we used icon buttons, overlay, and search input. That's the small components we use inside.
And it looks very nice. Still, what I meant with weird is it looks like inserted into the default, right? Because it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's the first glimpse at what the website will become. Beautiful. Okay, so what were the next steps?
We continued with that. We had a login form as example here, where we did the same, and yeah.
But it's German only at this point, right? So there is no internationalization going on.
No,
Okay.
it's German and English. But when we started the project, you can see German text inside here. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
when we started the project, Composable Frontends was not translatable.
Okay.
But now it is.
Yeah.
And we will replace this with translation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we will start with German and English in the beginning.
Okay, so now you basically developed your storefront with this, and now you need to host it somewhere. How did you do that?
We completely separated the front end and the Shopware core from each other, and that was two different projects. We developed that in the same team, but it was two different projects, and it could also be possible to put this on two teams. So one team is developing the front end, and one team the Shopware core and the extension for the Shopware core. So for us it's two different projects with two different Git repositories, two different Docker setups for local development, and also our GitLab CI pipeline is different from each other. So we are deploying the front end separate from the Shopware core. And it's also two websites to vhost, and we used Timber hosting for that because we nearly for every project use Timber hosting. So we are used to
just a good relationship.
Yeah. But you can also use other hosting tools. And for the front end, we use the supervisor process manager for the node application for the front end. So this is controlling everything is running up, and
because the composable frontends application is started by Node, so it's not like Apache something like it would be with PHP, but it's okay. And so you need something that makes sure that everything is running, and that is supervisor. A project. Okay, great. So basically now your project is running. You started with the design, then you put that into your storybook, then you put everything into the demo store piece by piece until everything worked. What were your learnings?
Our learnings, it's very important to take time for all the basic configuration with design tokens and small components. Because if you have that, it's very easy to set up all the templates after that. And if you start with the small components, you have individual components, and it's easier to change everything after that if you have everything clean in the beginning. And yeah, also the communication between front end and the UX UI team in the beginning is very helpful.
Yeah, so by front end team, the people who are actually writing the code, and UX UI, the people who are doing nice things in Figma. Okay. Just to distinguish, because not every company or every agency listening might have both teams that separated as you do. Okay.
Other learning was that because of all the basic stuff, it takes time in the beginning, and it would be helpful for us to have a blueprint for that, so we can quick start a project with that. So every project needs an input component, every project needs a button, and so the idea is it would be helpful to have a component library for Figma and also for composable frontends as base, which we can use for every project and then style this for every customer.
And you will do that, obviously.
I hope so.
I hope so. Great.
Yeah, I think
Great answer.
because
Okay.
it will save time for us and for the customer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
There are some small problems with composable frontends at the moment because it's developing very fast. You can use it quite well, but it's not perfect at the moment. And at some places we had to find some individual solutions. Some of them are already removed because something changed in composable frontend, and we do not need our individual solutions anymore. But there are some things you have to do individual because
not everything works out of the box.
Yeah. And plugins from the store are not really not all implemented API first. So you have to check this before you start. And we need more plugins which are API first.
Or the plugins that are developed should be API first.
Yeah,
that also goes for Shopware plugins. Yeah.
Yeah, also for Shopware plugins.
We are working on that.
We use the custom forms plugin, and that has an API but not API first. So you have an API endpoint for the request of the forms, but you have no API endpoint to get the form configuration from the backend. So yeah, and there are many changes to composable frontends at the moment. So you have to check updates.
If you need them.
If you need them, but the translation is a good example. We need those updates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and our developers and UX designer really like to work with composable frontends because we can work with this process with all the small components, and that was not possible with the normal Shopware storefront. So they like to work with composable frontends, and now it's changing a little bit. The developers from NEOS and Typo 3 are looking over to us, and now they want to work with Shopware.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, everyone cooks with water, right? So composable frontends is not the perfect thing, the holy grail. Neither is the storefront that comes with Shopware, and neither is NEOS or Typo 3. As soon as you start with a project, you see the shortcomings, and every project has shortcomings. So it's nice that composable frontends actually has a positive impact on your projects. Okay, so, and what are your conclusions and next steps?
Yeah, next steps is to develop this component library and project template as blueprint. So we have a quicker start with the project. And we will do this with a blank theme, I think, because if you use the existing components for header and footer, it's difficult to control which ways do you have with all components which are not used by us.
Yeah. Also, when you want to implement changes from upstream from the Git repository, it becomes harder when you are on the demo store. Yeah, definitely. Okay. And then set up development and testing process of the storybook. Did you do this already since we talked last time?
We are starting at the moment. I started yesterday, so
Nice.
to define it. So I think next week I will try out with Storybook and see if it works. And yeah, there's already new projects where we are using Composable Frontends. So here it was one project, now it's two, and one maybe will have something like the B2B suite or B2B components. And we also need payment then. So we have to challenge this.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I think that's all that you brought with you. You also have a download slides QR code in case anyone wants to download this. I just saw there's a little smiley in the upper left corner. Nice. Okay. Anyway, thank you for your talk. Thank you for sharing your project experience with us. And for everyone down below, there are links if you don't have your phone ready. If you have your phone ready, okay. And now, thank you, Miriam. Thank you out there for watching. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.